Good morning, everybody. You are listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. So happy that you joined us. So happy. Running just a little bit late, but we've got so much going on today. This is an amazing day. This is the day that Don Wilson will be here. And we're going to be putting him on our second segment. And so we're dialing at L.A. now as we speak. And you know how long it takes to get in touch with L.A. No, but he's going to be here for all the rest of the show. And you guys have got to stay tuned. He is so amazing. He is maybe it's not the only Republican in L.A., but I was so shocked to find out that he was a Republican, and how much fun to have an L.A. connection like that. He also is the one that was taken in by Elvis after all his family was killed in a horrible automobile accident, and Elvis took him under his wing. You know, that's a big span, right? And so he got to grow up in a different world, surreal world, I'm sure at times, but he got to see a lot of the famous people that we look at, you know, especially that I grew up with, and go like, wow, these guys are so great. And there they are surrounding him. And so he has a different worldview because he was raised in Houston as a young boy. And then he got to meet, you know, all of the King's friends. And so that's pretty cool. And then next week we have a girlfriend of Elvis Presley's. She has not given very many interviews. Her name's Mindy Miller. And she'll be with us next Wednesday. And it's so exciting because she said she has some information about, you know, behind the scenes at the funeral. She went to the funeral. And some things that happened that a lot of the public, they don't know about. So she's going to share it with us. And, you know, people that are Elvis fans, just anything you tell. She was telling me about how he would go out and go get gas for his car and go, you know, to the filling station. He'd do stuff. When he wanted to get out, he'd just get out. And he didn't care what kind of chaos it may, you know, make happen. But, you know, he wanted to feel like a normal person at times, of course. And that's what was interesting to me. And that, and I wanted to know how much he talked about his mama. And so we're going to find out a lot of interesting things, but positive. They're positive things about Elvis Presley, because she said all of his friends had written a lot of stuff that didn't, you know, wasn't very complimentary. And she was upset because she knew he'd be upset, that he didn't want people talking like that and saying things like that. And before he died, he had seen a book that came out that was very uncomplimentary and very negative, and it hurt him because these were his friends. You know, Elvis was your friend. You were a friend forever because you kept seeing those guys, all those guys that he liked in the first movie he made. They stayed with him, and he worked a part out for somebody wherever they were. He got them in there, and so I love that about him. He was very loyal to people, and he expected them to be loyal back. So anyway, she'll be with us next week, but Don, who Wilson, who's going to be on in just a few minutes, represents her and a lot of people in Hollywood, and they're in L.A., and he's become, you know, an entity of his own and does a lot of stuff for the people there, and everybody just loves him. You say Don Wilson, they go like, oh, he's such a doll, he's so great, he's so fabulous. So we're excited to have him on. He'll be on in just a few minutes. And Dennis has already warned me I better keep my mouth shut and let him talk. I've already got that warning, so I got to get all in right now. What I'm going to talk about. But I got to tell you what happened after I left yesterday. And then we're going to getting to Don in about 5 minutes or so. When I walked out, I kept hearing this radio, but it didn't sound like our radio station. And it got louder and louder as I got to my car. And the reason was because I left my car, you know, when you turn it just to roll down a window or something. Well, that's what I'd done. When I got out to come into the show, I rolled down the window in the back, and I turned that key to do it. I got out, got the stuff out that I wanted from the car, and shut the door and walked around and came into the station with the car on and the radio playing for an hour and so, you know, maybe an hour and a half. There it was. So when I came out, I could hear it playing. I'm like, oh my word! So I turned it off and went, good grief, how embarrassing. Then I tried to turn the key to turn the engine on, and it went click, click. And I was like, no, this can't be happening. So I tried to get Richard, because he had left just a few minutes before me, to see if he could come back. Does he have jumper cables? He didn't have jumper cables. And he said, ask someone in Conroe Coffee No one in Conroe Coffee had any. Nobody had any. So this guy said, why don't you walk down to the constable office? It's just a couple of blocks down there. Maybe they should have somebody to do that. I walked down there, and they said, the person that does that is off today. And I went, oh, so we'll call another office. So they very sweetly called another office.
It's kind of funny they have one person in the whole constable's
it's
office.
One person.
Like, even the constable himself won't help you, but...
So it was pathetic. I was thinking, am I ever going to get this, get this working again? And I'm going to have to tell Sam I left the car on. I didn't want to have to tell anybody that. So anyway,
Is that what you did?
I left it. It wasn't like the engine wasn't running, but the car, when you turn it like that so that you can roll
So
the
you got out of
down.
the car without your car keys? So you left it during the whole show?
Yeah. I didn't want anybody to find that out, but okay, so that's what I did. And so all these people now are trying to help me, and nobody's asked yet, did you leave something on? Nobody said that yet. So I wait, and they said, an officer is going to call you, and you just stand by your car. So I'm standing by my car, and these two guys that are sitting out there having coffee had already looked in their car. They didn't have jumper cables. So all of a sudden we see an officer pulling out this parking lot over there. We all jumped and said, hey, do you have jumper cables? Can you help me? My battery's dead. And he said, no, I don't have any jumper cables. Let me go see if I can find somebody that has them. So he leaves, and I sit there, and he comes back with the jumper cables, but he had to go all the way to the auto parts because not any of the offices close here, our officers had jumper cables. And he said, I can't believe this is such a rarity. I didn't realize no one carries jumper cables anymore. So he went and got them.
I'm
How
sorry you went
sweet
through
is
this because I have jumper cables.
Oh my word! I thought you said you didn't have.
No, I said I was already on the highway.
Oh, that's right. You were too far
I
away
was
to
heading
come
into
back.
Houston. I was already
Okay.
I was already into the woodlands.
You were not.
Yeah, I was like going. I passed what do you call it, River
3
Plantation, like going right there.
Yeah, I guess you were close. No, I knew you were on the freeway. I didn't want you to come back. So I'm waiting for this guy to call. The other officer calls me from the other station they had called and said, I'm sorry, the guy that does that is not here today. And I went, y'all only have one person too? They all get off on the same day? And he said, I'm sorry. And he said, and I've been asking, nobody has jumper cables.
You think that would be standard procedure
This
to
is
have
ridiculous.
jumper cables in all police vehicles, just in case of a
Just
police
in
vehicle.
case, yeah. Or one of those boxes that, that they use to charge up a battery. But anyway, so the police officer comes back. He's got the jumper cables, but he can't get to my battery.
Well, now you know something that you could go to City Hall with.
I've already thought that I would buy a set of
And then
jumper
you can
cables.
plug Trump.
That's right. And then I
While
need
you're
a quid pro quo for if I give you the jumper cables, will you always be able to come do this for me if I call? But anyway, so he couldn't get to my battery, and this lady that had pulled in on the side, he said, could you move out so I could get to your battery? And she said, oh, sure, I've got a battery. My battery's in the trunk. She had a really nice, beautiful, wonderful car. She said, but my battery's in the trunk, so you can go ahead and get it. I'll just pull in the back way. And he said, that's fine, whatever. So anyway, he did that, and then he came over, and he says, okay, turn it on. So it clicked. He goes, Miss Cindy, did you leave something on? And I went, well, yeah. And he said, well, for how long? And I said, about an hour and a half. And he said, yeah. So he's laughing. And then he says, okay, no, we need to pull this back. And it took a while for that to charge that back up. But I couldn't, an hour. I've sat and talked to people with the car running for an hour, but never this way where it just clicked the battery. All I was doing was draining the battery straight out. So anyway, his name is Jared O'Farrell. Do you know him? He's an officer that works right around here. Jared O'Farrell. And then this other guy that was standing by just helped push the car into a position to make sure they could get the battery. I just want to thank him. And that was so kind, so sweet. And I am going to buy some battery some cables for the battery. I'm going to do that. And I said, I know, Jared, that it's hard for you to understand how I get from A to B, but I make it here. I do. I make it here. And I don't know, by the grace of God, I think it is. But anyway, so we had a good time, and I got to meet some people that I hadn't met before, and they were very kind. And I love when people want to help. It's just amazing. We all hugged and said, thank you very much. And that's how we do it in Texas. That's how we roll. Hey, listen, we've got to go to a break because we have got to talk to Don Wilson. We're so excited about talking to him, and we're going to find out, how does a Republican live in L.A. and get away with it? Okay, don't go away. You're listening to Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Lone Star Community Radio is FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, coming in June of 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk and music shows on YouTube, cable TV, and Our City TV, we are offering special sponsorships rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcast. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like the one you're listening to online at irlonestar.com/sponsor, or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Boy, is that true. You are listening to Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio, unscripted, unashamed, unabashed, one of the sorts. But who we have on the line is, I've been just slobbering all over his name, and all of the stuff he's done is so amazing, is Don Wilson. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Cindy. How you doing today?
Fabulous. I know it's 2 hours earlier there, so I really appreciate you getting up. Are you an early bird anyway?
I usually wake up a little early. If you weren't on, I wouldn't listen to the radio this early. But yeah.
Well, I love it because anytime I text you in any way, you're just like right on. You just like text me right back, and I wish I was that way. I just wish I could be that way. But you are like on all media, and it's amazing. So I'm proud of you for that. And I know Richard wishes I would be better at that. But it's just I guess I've done it so long, it's just second nature. Well, you've been in LA for how long?
A little over 20 years.
20 years. Wow. And you moved out there. What year did you move out there?
Well,
say 20 years ago. I'd have to subtract it, and I can't do that in my head this early.
Yeah, so. It was about 96.
96. Okay. And when Elvis passed away, you were still living in Houston? Where were you?
Yeah, I was living in Houston. But I'd come up to Memphis, usually around the summer, and
hang out.
Yeah.
How fun. Was he married to what's her face?
Priscilla.
I was starting to say Lisa Marie. No, Priscilla. I've kind of forgot about her. But Priscilla, he was married to her when you would come up there?
He was divorced from Priscilla, by the time I was, around Elvis. But, I'd met her, a couple of times during that. The first time I met her was at, the Astrodome when Elvis was performing there in 70. But,
right.
And she, she just tapped me on the shoulder, while Elvis was on, performing, and she said, "He's pretty good, huh?"
And what do you say to his wife? No.
Yeah, what can you say? Yeah. She teases me. Priscilla's always been very, very nice to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you have. That's your remembrance of her. But what about Lisa Marie? Did you get to meet her or hang out with her?
Oh yeah. And the last time that I talked to Lisa, she was at Patsy Presley's house. I was quite a few years ago on the telephone, but I haven't seen her in a long time. But when I was around Elvis, she was just a kid, so I didn't, talk to her. But, she was usually tooling around in her golf cart,
Right. Well, I think I think those kind of things are fun. I talked to Mindy Miller. I was shopping in Kroger, and I'm pushing my cart down the aisle, and I'm looking for it, and I get the phone call, and I just go, hello, and she goes, hey, Cindy, this is Mindy Miller. And I went, I'm thinking, how am I going to do this professionally, talk to her while I'm shopping for peanut butter? It was hard to try and keep a calm, and plus I wanted to tap people on the shoulder passing by. He's like, who I'm talking to? I'm talking to a former girlfriend of Elvis Presley. It was just so fun. So you can't get away from that. And I told her, I said, it's not that I want to exploit you because you were a girlfriend of Elvis Presley. You dated him. But it's just so fascinating to people what they want to know. And she goes, no, I understand that. In fact, she's going to explain to us why he fell in love with her. And it's so totally for, different reasons that you may think, and why he was attracted to her. And it's not any reason that, she's beautiful, of course, that's of course. But the connection that they had was just really different and cool. And she's going to talk about that next Wednesday with us. So I'm excited about that. And thank you so much for, bringing us together.
Oh, sure. This may sound silly, but what kind of peanut butter? Let's see if there's an Elvis connection here. What kind of peanut butter were you shopping for?
Well, I was shopping for it to put with my bananas. And
but what brand name?
Jiffy.
Well.
What did he do?
Yeah, his Elvis's favorite was Skippy.
Skippy,
the creamy kind. Yeah.
Oh, well,
he used to hide it from his uncle when he was a little boy because his uncle would tease him. I'm gonna get your peanut butter.
Well, that's what's funny is that now of course, back in the day, Skippy was what you had to eat. Skippy, and then Jiffy and Jif. I always think of Jiffy Lube, and I don't want to think of that with peanut butter. But anyway, that was such a funny thing when I found out that he liked bananas and peanut butter mixed, like together for a sandwich, and that was his favorite sandwich. I went, I have so much in common with him. But it was.
I'll make you one of those sometimes. Cindy, his cook Mary Jenkins showed me exactly how to do it. So.
Okay, yeah, there was a special he liked it. He liked it sliced, not like. All mixed in. She said that's what I read, but
yeah, I'll give you the recipe.
Oh, that's so Elvis's banana peanut butter. You can just we need to put it on the Facebook what the recipe is and let people dabble in that. But Don, I what I said on the Facebook. What fascinates me more is the fact that you're a Republican in Los Angeles, and I got to know, how did you? Were you always a Republican, your family Republican, or did you turn?
My family was always Democrat.
Yeah.
I was Democrat, for many years. I voted for Reagan twice, so I went away from being a Democrat those times, and then when I also voted for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But for everybody else, I was a Democrat. So, but this is such a crucial year, and with all the corruption and the lies and I cannot believe anybody would want to vote for Hillary Clinton after all this stuff, the WikiLeaks and what have you. I mean, it's just in your face,
mm-hmm.
but they're not paying attention to it, and here's Donald Trump, and he is speaking. Well, sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth, but everybody does. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
But I mean, he speaks his mind.
That's right, and that's why people think that he has such a high rating in honesty as compared to Hillary. Is because they feel like if the things that he says or that we know about him, every other politician would want to cover up or not say, or keep their mouth shut about it. But we feel like we know who he is, with flaws and everything, but what he's after are the same things we're after, and we might sit him in the corner for something he said, but it's just, here's the deal: is if you will stand up to a lot of the corruption in Washington and help fix it, that would be amazing. He could turn out to be like a Reagan, where we stand back and go, wow, he really did what he said. That would be an amazing thing, right?
That would be amazing. And the contrast between Trump and, Clinton is because, he speaks from his heart and how he feels, and she has to be scripted. You know, it's just like, oh,
Right.
I can't go in front of anybody unless I rehearse for a week. You know.
That's so true, and it's funny because you and I both said the same thing. Is that we thought when she kept the final debate, she kept looking down at the lectern there, and you think, is she reading a prompter? Is it built into that? Because the way she would read, it looked like she was reading as she looked down, and before she'd ever open her eyes to look up at us. But it was an interesting phenomenon, and you felt the same way. And I asked,
yes, I did. And how about that guy? That takes their papers away. I mean, I want to know about this guy.
Right? They rush in and rush out. That would be a great conspiracy thing, is to figure that out. But the WikiLeaks thing, doesn't it amaze you that they've got this great narrative going about? Well, we don't know. That's unconfirmed, and it came from the Russians, and it was stolen. So how can we really tell if it's real or doing all that? But the deal is that you haven't said what you said wasn't true. What was on that paper there, and it shows the timeline and all that. And it didn't look like it was corrected and redacted like we do stuff. But it was like, here's the email. You said it, so you deal with it. And you try and blame me for what you said. You try and blame me for that. It's already said. It's done. Here it is. And so, they've tried to moonwalk on that thing, and I just don't think it's happening.
Well, no, there's too much of it.
Too much.
How could anybody, make up all of that stuff? It's too many thousands of them.
Right.
And I'm not really too crazy about Megyn Kelly. She irritates me, but she did get into Donna Brazil great. Like a week or so ago.
Yeah, we
and
like
then she's
that.
like, I thought they'd been confirmed,
And she went into that, the Russians stole this. And when she said, I'm a Christian woman, I know what it's like to be persecuted, I wanted to throw up. Shut up. Why would you say something like that? This isn't persecution. This is what you said. This is your image that you created. And, when they talk about, well, Donald Trump said it came out of his mouth. We heard it come out of his mouth, and all that's what makes it true. Well, we know this came out of your fingertips pressing onto those buttons and saying what you said, and how you guys can deny it. But that's right. There's too much smoke not to be some fire back there.
Well, definitely. This George Soros, he's got all these voting machines.
Right.
It's just like so many different things about voter fraud that's coming out, especially around Dallas-Fort Worth. I read about it not too long ago.
Right.
And is your vote being counted? I went right down to the registrar's office. I put it in the slot myself and hope to God that it's going to be counted.
You did. That's
it's
how
not
you
just
did
Donald
it.
Trump,
Yeah.
saying it. It's like a reality.
Well, you're right. It'd be different if he was just up there yelling about it, and we didn't have these underlying stories coming into our local, stations. That Harris County, all the people saying that they vote straight Republican, and then it would highlight the Democrat at the top in the presidency. And they kept trying to say all kind of things why that was happening. Now, of course, there could be voter, misunderstanding, because a lot of those things are confusing if you first time you're voting and all. But I'm telling you, it is so corrupt. And this has been going on though for ages, right? I mean, when Jack Kennedy won, they knew that his dad Joe had something to do with that, and that there was all kind of things happening, but. We are under such scrutiny now. You think it couldn't happen, but the electronics of it is what I think trips us up.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of dead people voting. I mean, there's even with. I mean, I like JFK, but it's just like there was a lot of dead people that were voting at that time, but it's just now it's like people that are 110 are voting. What's going on?
And I'm about to fall over when I hear them start this righteous indignation about that Donald Trump wasn't going to say if he was going to support the person who won or not. And he said, I'll keep you in suspense. And the angst, the drama in these anchors' voices when they go, that's just not American. How could he do that? How could he say that? Anyone that would say something like that is not qualified to be the president of the United States. And I go like, what? Are you crazy? This is, for you to say that.
Well, I know. Well, look at President Obama. He's in office, and all this political correct, crap that's going on. You know, it's just everybody is fed up, and they're taking down the 10 Commandments. You know, and they're taking away our religious freedoms.
Right.
And they're you know, it's just like if somebody wants to come into our country, let them do it the right way. The illegal aliens are getting aid. You know, like it should be going to the people of America.
Right.
It's you know, I was raised in, you know, Houston.
Don.
And so, you know, I did the Pledge of Allegiance and you said under God.
That's right.
You know, I believe, you know, in God. Our nation was, you know, founded.
That's how it was founded. You're right. Stay right there.
It's all going to...
Don, keep that right there because we're going to come right back. And I got to take this break. I'm so sorry. But I'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back with Don Wilson, and we're going to get into it. The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio. Come back.
The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
We're starting to film our talk shows and putting them on YouTube. Your favorite Lone Star Community Radio show can be seen on YouTube under our Lone Star Community Radio channel and on City of Conroe's Our City TV channel on Suddenlink Channel 12. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the most recently released videos and find more information online at irlonestar.com/TV.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Oh yeah, we're back. We're back with Don Wilson, the only Republican I know in LA. So I'm so happy to get to talk to him.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
No, I'm sure there's more because the LA Times keeps coming up with the poll saying that Trump and Clinton are tied. Do you see that there? Do you feel that?
I think that, well, let me give you an example of, I don't really believe in the polls and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
and
I don't either.
Yeah, but it's just like I saw this old one from like 1980, and, you know, Jimmy Carter was at 45%, and Ronald Reagan was 39%, and Reagan won in 1980, you know, so you can't really go by it. And
well,
yeah, but I hear more about Trump. Let me put it this way. I was down in Hollywood, you know, right on, you know, Sunset Boulevard, and right there at the corner of Sunset and Vine, you know, they have the Trump signs out, and they're like, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
Really?
You know, yeah. Great. I don't see anything for Clinton. And then we went to Vegas to see the Stones this last week, and midway, you know, out in the desert, you know, there's an overpass, and there's guys and gals up there with Trump signs.
Oh, man. Do they say honk for Trump or what they say to do for Trump?
Yeah, exactly.
In Hollywood, you never know what they're going to ask you to do to show your approval of something. But that's so cool. And you told me something that we were talking about women and all the stuff that's been going on and how women have been so offended and all this stuff. What's funny is to me in the 60s, you know, what we wanted was equality. We wanted to be treated like a man, and we wanted to have the respect that men have or the disrespect or whatever, but we wanted to show how strong we were. So we wore, you know, ties and suits and all that to try and, you know, be like that man. But the minute the man says something that could be disparaging and could be, you know, disrespectful and offensive to a woman, wow, everybody just goes, oh my, you have just offended me so badly. I can't believe you said that to me. Now that's the person from Gone with the Wind. What was her name?
Of course, Scarlett.
Yes. No, Scarlett. The girl that was her friend. Everything was so.
Oh, Miss Prissy.
Miss Prissy. Yeah, and I met her one time at Channel 13, and she had these big old fake eyelashes on, and she kept trying to glue them back together and would talk to me. And I said, "Oh my word, she sounds. This is just how she talks. This is how she talks."
Butterfly McQueen, right?
Yeah, Butterfly McQueen. She was great. She was so funny, but the eyelashes were like 3 times as big as her face, and she was just so cute. But that's what it reminds me of, is all these girls going to the Southern, oh, I can't believe you have offended me, kind of thing. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? What do you want? Do you want to be able to stand up against that man and tell him what you think and what you're going to do and all that? And Megyn Kelly, you know what? I thought Newt Gingrich did you well. That was perfect because of what you've said. And he's right. The inflammatory statements, good grief. So I love that whole interview. Thank you for sending that to me.
I would say, she was neutered.
That was the funniest
thing
I saw. Megyn Kelly neutered. She makes.
There's this photo of Megyn Kelly. That's all on social media. It says neutered.
I love that. But Megyn Kelly makes $15 million a year. That's what she makes, and her contract is about up, and shows she's going for a $20 million. But Rupert Murdoch is about to retire, and his sons are going to take over, and they're going to try and make Fox News more like Sky News. And so I'm wondering what's going to happen to her and how she'll stand.
She'll probably fall off just like the ratings are.
Yeah, that's, man, when she... but it was so fabulous. It was great. It was so good. So I guess it's true. If you're a Megyn Kelly fan, that would make you mad. But if you just, you want to hear what the truth, and Newt spoke the truth. Hello, Dolly. That was great. So you said that the way that women, talking about the righteous indignation that all these women have been offended, you say the women that you talk to want to just slap Hillary. They just want to slap her.
Oh yeah, they want to get there. They want to get in line. I just want to slap her in the face. Just let me at her. I'm just like, well, you're ladies, go for it. I'm a gentleman, but
right.
I may talk against her, but
yeah. So you can't say anything like that, and that's what It's like Donald talked to her like, if you're running for this position, and it doesn't have to be. It's a man's position, but this position you're going to be commander in chief. It doesn't say commanderess in chief. It's commander in chief, and you've got to deal with all this. And these guys, if you think they're supposed to treat you with, kid gloves. That's not how it's going to happen. So you take on this position, you better be ready to accept it. And all your surrogates that say, I can't believe he's treating a woman like that. He's, that's how he thinks about women then. That's how he thinks. No, you've entered.
Well, it's such a double standard.
Yeah, exactly. The arena that you've entered into, Hillary. What do you expect? Hello. That's what but when you said that, I thought that's pretty interesting coming from people that you hang out with, and all that they would get that angry. But I have heard the same thing, and you got to stop and say, is this just because my friends, I just hang out with the people that think like me, and that's and I just
yeah, that's not always true, because I've had liberals for friends. There's a couple of people who won't even talk to me anymore, but because if you don't believe the way they do, they just walk on. I'm just like so childish, and these are successful entertainers,
because it seems like that that's the way everybody goes. It's like everybody here is going to be liberal, and everybody's going to be for Hillary, and Justin Timberlake is going to take booth pictures with her and his wife, and then he's going to take a selfie of him with the voter, and he's going to be in trouble. But it's just these people feel like it's almost like how Trump was talking about, just because you're in a minority does not mean you have to be a Democrat. That doesn't mean that you have to vote that way. Vote who you think is going to be best for this country.
That's right. I want to go back to you're talking about the ladies and them putting all these charges on Trump and all this kind of. See, that's the thing. It's so easy to do that. You can be anybody. And anybody else would have already been under the jail. Except for here's Donald Trump. And if there's anything to these, allegations,
right.
It goes back to Gloria Steinem, in Ms. Magazine, the Women's Liberation. They fought
right.
for it, and even John Wayne in this old interview. I'll send it to you, and it's even current today from what he said 30 years ago, and he even talks like what we call now the Black Lives Matter and the
right.
women's movement.
Right.
It goes back to them, and then they want all the rights, and then they say, well, you can't do that.
Yeah, because I'm a woman. You can't do that. That's not right. That's not right. But I think that, he has kind of torn a lot of that away. He has lifted a lot of rocks, and we've seen a lot of, crummy stuff going on. But the WikiLeaks, I think, is overwhelming right now. I think the things with Donald is faded a little bit, but the WikiLeaks still keeps coming in and keep coming in. And even MSNBC could not dispute, the things that were being talked about, how the foundation and the State Department were so intertwined, and too many things were going on, and too many people were having to do work on both sides of this, that it had to become meshed together, and that taxpayers were paying for their foundation work. And so it is a very slimy thing that's going on. And it's just like when this one person said, if somebody lies to me, then everything they say I have to take with a grain of salt, because if they lied so well to me on this, and I've forgiven them, but if they lie so well there, then why aren't they, so your distrust is always there. And how in the world they have seen Hillary Clinton say so many things that bald-faced lied because we found out. She was found out. And how do you keep trusting that person when you know they lie? Everybody lies. Everybody does, falls short. I understand that. But these people have put themselves out there to be scrutinized, to be vetted, to, find out about it. And if we're going to put our country's, security and our lives in your hands, we got to know that I can trust you to do the right thing and not just to make yourself richer.
Hillary Clinton has told so many lies, there could be a book about it.
Yeah. Volumes.
And it's the people she's idolized, that taught her, deny everything. And
That's right. Deny. That's right. If you watch Hillary's America, it's so interesting because he just lays out a case and uses her own words and say, this is how she does it. This is how she rolls. You have to understand that if you vote her in as president, what makes you think any of this is going to change? Because she brought all this to the State Department. But I'm going to tell you my theory, Don. I've got to share this with you. I think she was so angry that she lost to Barack Obama, who came out of nowhere, and she knew that being the first woman president was going to have a hard time, trumping him being the first black president. She feel it coming, just feel it coming. And this was her time. That was supposed to be her presidency. And he came in and messed that up. He won, and then to appease her, he throws her a bone and brings her in as Secretary of State. Now, she knows that that's where she's going to build her power base, is all the time she's doing that, because she didn't pay a lot of attention to a lot of stuff going on there. But her foundation got a lot of attention, and she made a lot of money out of that. And so she bided her time, and then he had to support her. Because you imagine the deals that went on between them, like, okay, I'll do this, but you've got to support me whenever I run in 8 years or whatever. And he said, okay, fine. So she runs, and here Joe Biden is going to run. But no, that's not the deal they made. And she must have gone back to him and said, you better get him out of this race, because this is my time. And if you want your legacy to go on, you better get me in there. And so then he's standing next to poor Joe Biden as he read that speech and got out of the race. And Joe he has regretted that ever since. He has regretted that. So I think she has been mad about this all this time and just bit her tongue and said how great Obama was and all that. But she was determined that this is where they need that power. Just like people have said today, even the liberals saying, Bill and Hillary can't help themselves. They feel like they're above the law. They have no qualms about doing this stuff. Do you think I'm wrong?
No. And, Michelle Obama is on the campaign trail with, Hillary today. And you've seen the way she, spoke against Hillary when she was, running against, Obama.
That's right.
It's so unbelievable, that they could even, it's turn face, it's hypocritical,
Oh, brother, yeah.
And then, of course, our Vice President, Biden, he's just like, well, I like to get Trump in a fight. And always you want, what is that?
And they were all upset because they even have it in their commercial about Trump saying, I'd like to punch him in the face. Well, we should use the one about Biden saying that he just liked to, beat him up. I think you're right. And she is using Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama, I'm sure, Barack told her, said, girl, you got to go out there and just say whatever she needs you to say it, and make her look good, because I want to keep this thing going I got going, and I don't want this to die here. So I just, It's amazing. And politics makes strange bedfellows. That is so true. That I understand more and more as I get older what that means. And so I think we're going to be in for an amazing time. Now on November 8th, Don, are you gonna be in front of the TV because you've already voted? Are you gonna get some popcorn? How are you gonna treat that night?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be in front of the TV. We're going to have the popcorn and all that. And hopefully my girlfriend will not have a heart attack because she just wanted him to win so much. It's just don't believe the polls. In fact, Trump was ahead of Clinton by a couple of points in Florida. She's got, it must have really irked her.
Oh, brother, yeah. And he went and did that tour. I mean, he was just like everywhere in Florida. And so she had to come back to Florida because she thought, that was going to be hers. And Texas. Now, your feeling about Texas, I feel so strongly that this is not going to happen. I mean, how can she even think she's going to win Texas?
She's not going to win in Texas. No,
it can't be. And in Florida, because they've got them tied up now, right? It's tied up, or
right.
Is she ahead a couple of points? Anyway.
Well, yesterday he was ahead a couple points. I don't know today, but look at the contrast. She barely gets anybody really at her rallies. They always show the people that do show up. They never show Trump's. He's got like 30,000. Did you see Tim Kaine yesterday?
Yeah, 30.
And he had like 30. And Ben Carson,
so
stated sad.
That's so sad. Now, she's bringing the big guns like with Michelle because they said they feel like Michelle's like a rock star, so she'll bring more people into the rally and have her there. Because a lot of times when she starts speaking and they're talking, the crowd goes, Michelle. And so Hillary doesn't get that a lot of times. And that I know that must kill her to have to bring somebody in to prop her up and try and make this look good. But I don't get it. I mean, I really would think that there was something crooked. If I see that night that she wins by a landslide, something is wrong. But I think he's going to win. I'm pretty sure he's going to win. I think
he's going to win too. Even Michael Moore, who's this big liberal, he came out with a video and said, "This is why Donald Trump's going to win. He's for the disenfranchised.
Right.
The underdog. The ones that have lost their jobs. Hillary Clinton doesn't care about that. Right. And then she's talking yesterday about Trump. And his palatial mansion. Or Trump Tower and all that. She's not on welfare. I mean, she's got a lot of money.
She made $250 million after leaving the White House when she was so poor. And so she needs to be doing seminars on how to, bring that money in. And I think that she's been caught too many times now with the speeches being revealed. But when they say, I want everybody to remember, listen to what they say when they're asked the questions about WikiLeaks. They say the attacks that they've had because of WikiLeaks, the attacks that they've had, and they immediately say the Russians have stolen this. Well, if they stole it, you never say they changed the wording. I don't hear them saying, and they changed the wording because that's not what I said in the email. So they've never been real dogmatic about saying, I never said that. I never even sent that email. They never do that. They just say they were stolen by the Russians. You just make draw your own conclusions. They've not been, they say that they haven't been documented as being true and all that. Well, but they're not saying what was said. They're not saying that. So listen to the way they answer that, because they take words and everybody gets the same email. Well, maybe they don't send them an email anymore. I don't know how she's going to communicate anymore from this time on, because if I was her, I would write with disappearing ink and get it to the person and say, okay, got it. They tear it up or they chew it up and swallow it. It's like, so this is never seen again. They need to figure out how to do that, because, man, they are so messed up in what they say to each other, and that they talk like that to each other. If that's, I believe it's true. But because if you thought you're saying something in private to someone, sending it electronically, you're about as stupid as the people that take selfies nude or of their private parts and send them thinking nobody's ever going to see this. It's like how arrogant can they be?
I know, but all this Project Veritas, that's coming out, and
right.
Vogel, he's out, and then this other guy's out, who actually helped write Obamacare. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and there's more conspiracies. I will send to you privately. You can stick it over. Maybe you can use for a future show and you can confirm it. But
okay. that's the confirmation of it is this. Is that it just supports everything that you thought. I mean, the things that we thought because of the images and the imagery, the optics of things that go on when Bill Clinton stops the DOJ and has them and gets on their plane, talks to them just a couple of days before the FBI comes out and said, she didn't do anything wrong, but we think she's pretty negligent. Well, something's happening there. You guys, optics are everything. It's just like the thing that I believe is perception is reality, and that this is what is going on with him. And they've got the worst judgment. Bernie Sanders was so right about her. She has bad judgment. And it's not, so if she has bad judgment about these little things, what are we going to do? I don't want her finger anywhere near the nuke, so it's as well. I don't know, who'd be worse. And that commercial that they have about that older guy walking through that antiquated looking place where they, they're talking about the infrastructure that we need to update and all, and that we're behind the Russians and all, and they take us in this teal blue and that ugly green stuff and have that as our this really top notch security system. I sure don't want Donald Trump next to it. Well, the person, So I want to let you have your closing comments, Don. What do you want to say to the people out there and the voters out there?
Well, I'll put it this way: I have talked to some very respected friends that have had it forever, are intelligent, but I'll say to them, why are you voting for Hillary Clinton? And you hear crickets. I mean, what has she done?
Right.
There's no accomplishments there.
Nope.
But it's if you want open borders and to lose your country, as Ted Nugent is said yesterday, he's a big Trump supporter.
Oh yeah.
If you don't want your country as it has been, then the thing is, Hillary Clinton is the person. But if you want America to stay America, the home of the free and the brave, and being able to say "God bless you" or "Merry Christmas," I mean, and if you can say "Happy Kwanzaa," or you can,
exactly.
Whatever religion you have the freedom, but don't tell us that we can't say it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Go right, because I'm not going to knock anybody's religion, but don't tread on ours.
Yeah, that's.
I would go for Donald Trump.
Okay, that's perfect. You heard it straight from an LA resident of California. And so they're going to fight hard there. And I think there's going to be a lot of surprises and, drop jaw for a lot of these anchors and pontificators and all that. So we thank you, Don Wilson, for your perception on that. I love it. And you're going to be on, when we go to FM, you got to come on and we'll talk more Elvis. Is that okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, thank you for just letting me vent and get this out of my system, Don. Thank you.
Anytime, Cindy. Always a pleasure.
Okay, we love you. All right, we will see you and talk to you soon. You are listening to Cindy Cochran Show, and we are out. We'll be back tomorrow about talking movies and what to do and entertainment and all that. Tomorrow with Joey Sheaf. And I'll be on at 12 o'clock. In 1 hour, I'll be on this station with Joey Sheaf and Real Talk. Okay, you listen to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, Internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.